meet you. As Nikki just said, I'm editor of Wedding Ideas magazine. This one here, hope you've all seen it before, is the best one. Also managing editor of Giraffe Media, who produces this magazine. We also produce Rock and Roll Bride magazine. Don't know if you heard that, just launched in January. And Marina magazine, which is completely different, about boating, so a bit random. But I'm just going to talk to you today about how to get your press releases and your business published in national press. Okay, trade secrets. Yeah, I'm going to be brutally honest about it because sometimes when you speak to editors or editorial or advertising in particular, they'll sort of tell you what maybe you want to hear. If I just tell you the truth, then you'll be more likely to actually get in the press, okay? So, where do you start? Getting published in a national magazine is difficult, particularly if you produce cakes, if you're a florist, dresses, shoes, whatever. There's so much competition out there. To actually get your name in the press can be really, really hard. But that said, with a little bit of know-how, you can get your business known by all the biggest names in the industry. The best ways to do this are through, I'm sure we'll probably hear this a lot today, social media. Everyone's going on about that. Press releases, going to wedding shows, national wedding shows and events like this. And good old-fashioned conversation, getting to know the right people in the industry. So what makes a good press release? The best press releases, like this one, I've nicked this one from Benefit, have a nice, big, attention-grabbing title, friendly tone, and most importantly, which I'll get onto in a minute, a really good image. Go easy on the text. Press releases, I probably get on average about maybe 100 press releases a day from people in the wedding industry. All sorts of different types. It could be entertainment, could be a venue, could be anything. The really, really heavy-weighted text press releases, I've got to be completely honest with you, they too tend to just go in the trash. Because when you're so busy, you don't have time to read 1,000 words of text in a press release. Make sure that you've got a spell checker on hand for your press releases. As editors, our biggest pet peeve is bad spelling and grammar. She says checking that I haven't put any mistakes in there. That would be very embarrassing. So make sure that you get it checked before you actually submit it. Don't go over about 500 words should be the absolute maximum that you should put in your press release. Probably less is more, as you can see on this one, literally barely any text. Treat your press release like a CV is the best advice I can give. Keep it simple with all the essentials in order of priority. So starting from the top, a personal intro. Hi Jade, just thought I'd catch up with you. How's it going? I've got this brand new product I want to show you. Lots of love, Fran. And then the press release below. In the press release, have the best asset at the top, which is your image, and then a bullet pointed or brief overview, and then finally your website at the bottom. Speaking of the website, it's really, really important that your website is up to scratch, because if an editor is impressed by your press release, the first thing they'll do is click on the URL, and if it comes to this god-awful website, they're thinking, this is either a scam or this is a business that I can't rely on. I don't really want to get our readers to go and visit and buy from because I don't know if I can trust them myself. If you've got an all singing, all dancing, amazing website, then they're like, yeah, okay, that's just sealed the deal for me, let's get it in the magazine. Think about the subject title. I know it sounds like a bit of a weird one, but like I said, if you've got 100 emails, you're going to go for the subject title that's most exciting. So make it exciting, newsworthy, and that will encourage the editor to open it. For example, and this Rainbow Club did not write this, so please don't dob me in, I just literally made it up. Press release, a lot of people do this, press release, : Rainbow Club reveal their latest collection for brides. Boring. Not probably going to read that straight away, read something else a bit more exciting. This one, or style alert, ! We love exclamation marks. Rainbow Club's 2015 collection is here. Get a sneak peek now. It sounds exclusive. It makes me think, oh my God, I've got to get in there before wedding and brides and you and your wedding. I've got to see it first. So that's going to encourage me to open it and try and get it in the press before anyone else. So the most important thing, I cannot stress this enough, is the photography. If you get this wrong, then you're in trouble. if you've got amazing photography, you're going to do well. I've put it here that basically a picture can have more impact than 1,000 words can have for an editor. As an editor, it's all about being a completer finisher, seeing the final product. So if an image is really amazing and beautiful, you can visualize it in the magazine, where it would sit. I mean, this, for example, it's just pom-poms and pinwheel things. It's not, you know, if you just had them in a pile, you'd never get it in the magazine. But the way they've dressed it there with the clock, and it's nice and bright and colourful, it just looks wicked and you want to put it in. So here's some examples of good photography. Again, pom-poms, but they've laid it out like a wedding, which looks really cool. I think you agree. And this one here, at first glance, anyone know what this would be about, this particular image? Shoes. Okay, but actually, apart from the gigantor one in the background there, it's probably one of the smallest things in that image. But the way they've dressed it, they've got a beautiful model in a bridesmaid's dress, they've got the butterflies. It looks fantastic, and I want to put that in my magazine, for sure. Some more for you. Beautiful model, great composition of the image. Also thinking about cutting images out. So have we got any sort of stationers, florists, cake makers, anything like that in here? Okay. You guys particularly want to go in the features of the magazine, so the cutouts where we've got the themes and the details pages. So you need a mixture of lifestyle and cutout images, not just lifestyles like this. This image here is a cutout image, and it's a really, really good example. Some people make the mistake of trying to cut it out themselves, paying a graphics designer a ton of money to do it for them, and actually that completely puts magazines off because inevitably they aren't to the standard that we need to print them. We would much rather that you do them, shoot them on a nice white background like that, nice and clear, and then we can get our team to cut them out. You don't need to go to all that effort. So, not so good. None of these images would make it in a magazine, okay? This image here, it's a beautiful headband. Lovely. You think, why wouldn't you put that in the magazine? Number one, it's on a polystyrene mannequin head that's a little bit creepy, and don't want to scare off the readers. Number two, if I was going to put it in the features section, how would you cut that out? You can only see the pearls there, you can't see the band. So if our art team cut that out, you wouldn't actually be able to see enough of it to actually put it in the magazine. This image here, it's pretty obvious what's wrong with this one. It's far too dark. You're never going to feature that as a lifestyle image. And when you shoot a bracelet, a cake, flowers, whatever on a black background, it actually is more difficult to cut out for an art team. So always go on a white background, never black. And also it's a little bit blurred. So sometimes photographers think it's cool to put effects on things like that, and like sepia and filters in the cameras. It just won't work in print. We've had loads of real weddings before that have been submitted to us, and we just can't use them because they've been, you know, this sort of fashionable vintage look that's going on. It almost looks like someone's put tea stain over it. But in print, it just looks dirty and it looks like it's an error on the magazine's part, so we won't print them. Venue here, lovely venue. Sure, it's beautiful inside. But that's not an exactly inspiring image. It would have been a lot better to go to one of the main features of the venue, like a grand staircase or something like that, or the gardens, and just spend a bit of budget to go and get in a couple of models, bride and groom, and get them kissing in the archway, or, hello, we've just got married, yay. It's just pretty and elegant, and it makes the reader sort of visualise getting married there. That's what you're aiming for. Okay, so you've done your press release. Now what do you do? Number one, research the publication first and foremost. Is it suitable? You'll not believe the amount of press releases that we get wedding ideas for cars, I don't know, rock festival bands and things like that, and we think, yeah, it's great and everything, but it's not really suitable for us. And you just know that that PR or that client, that business is just sending it out to anyone and everyone that they can find. Who is the best contact? You'd probably always go for the editor, sort of start at the top. If not, then, and they've got a features editor, a lot of the magazines like us, we only have a very, very small editorial team anyway. But if you just try and do a bit of research about the people and then you'll know exactly who you're meant to be sending it to. If you sent something to me that was meant to be in Real Weddings, I'd forward it on, but not all editors would do that. They just say, it's not for me, they haven't done the research, and delete it. Okay? And how can your product or company contribute to that magazine? So that's what goes into the next bit. Having a flick through the magazine, see which sections you can actually be featured in. Oh yeah, my cake could be amazing there. Or I could feature my entertainment. I could do tips about how to, the best band you can have at your wedding reception, things like that. And then when you contact the editor, actually say, I really love this section, I'd love to be in there, because it makes them think, oh, I've actually done a bit of research. That's great. There's nothing worse than asking for someone who no longer works there, or worse still, works for another magazine. I had quite a few of those. Hi, can I speak to so-and-so from Brides? Sorry, wrong number. So just make sure you get that right. It's a bit of a boo-boo. Make it personal. So no generic emails to multiple recipients. I know that sounds like, oh, it's going to be a lot of hard work. Oh, I've lost my mic. Sorry. But it just instantly sounds better to say, hi, Jade, rather than hi there, or hi all. And it also makes you think, if it's on to multiple recipients, that and all the other magazines have received it as well, so it's not exclusive to you. And also, if you do send it to loads of people at one time, the likelihood is that it's going to end up in junk mail. I know a lot of people say that and you think they're probably fobbing you off, but genuinely, if you send it to more than 50 people in one email, it does tend to go in junk. So if you want to send it to a few people, just send it to all the people at that one publication. Do it that way. When you're doing your sending your press release out, I would always call first. There's something a lot better about actually speaking to someone and getting to hear their voice and having a conversation rather than just sending an email out. And it's also a good way to get to know someone. I have PR, Sparkle PR in particular, good, and they would call me up and get to know me and say, oh, Jade, you're getting married. We got married in July to my husband. How's the wedding plans coming along and stuff like that first. And you think, oh, they're wicked, they're nice people. And it makes you more inclined to listen further and wait for that press release to come in. Then submit it, or better still, post your press release through. I'll get to that in a minute. And then if you hear nothing else, just give them another call. And then eventually they will reply, promise. Okay, this is the shameful bit, but I have to be honest. So we're pretty easily pleased. This is not a bribe or anything like that, but I'm just going to say it like it is. The best way to send a press release is in the post with a little something extra. So if you are a cake maker or a jeweller, you've got an easy job because you just put a sample in the post. There's no better way of getting people to want to publish your product and speak about your product if they taste it and they love it. Send a little cupcake, send a sample, send whatever you can. Obviously a bit more difficult for venues and such like, but sweet treats in particular go down well, wink wink, nudge nudge. And editorial teams are likely to tweet about any gifts that they get in the post or any nice press releases that they get. And in doing that, that gets your name out to all of their followers. So here's me being a creep saying, yeah, I'm loving these cookies from Nina Holden. She's a cookie maker, she sent us these, she even personalised them and everything, bless her. And we wanted to show off that we had them. So, and all of our followers, we've got a combined following of about 300,000 wedding ideas, 70,000 of those on Twitter. So to do that, your name and your Twitter handle is going out to all of those people and we're endorsing it. So it's a really good idea. Okay, words just don't do it justice. This is more for venues, beauty products, entertainers, things like that. Best thing to do is to actually invite an editor to review your product or your business. So if you're a boot camp, you might want to come and invite them to come along and try it. A venue, which should go down particularly well. Venues, by the way, do have the hardest job with press releases. There's only so much you can say about an old building. It was built in the 17th century and so visited here once. It's a bit difficult. So the best thing you can do is invite them to come and stay. Chuck in a free meal, maybe a bottle of wine, and then you're guaranteed a great review. Okay? Hint again. Yes, I'm here all week. Take my card. Yeah, so it definitely is though. And the best thing about that is reviews will give you much more substantial editorial than anything else. If you send in a picture of a cake and I think it's pretty, might put it in Fab Finds or details. But if you let us come and review your venue, then you will get a full page at least in the magazine just talking about your venue or your company. So it's definitely worth doing. Okay. Let's go on swiftly. Okay, another way to get published if you're not advertising is to offer a competition or reader offer. If you're in a position to do that, it is a really good thing to do. Basically, editors are always looking for this kind of thing because it's added value to their publication. A lot of magazine covers have prizes worth 20 grand inside, or win your honeymoon, or whatever. So if you can contribute to that in some way and they don't have to pay for it, then great. So for example, these dresses here, win your bridesmaids dresses, worth up to £500. You can have terms and conditions as long as your arm. It doesn't really matter. Say what the stipulations are with that. But again, you will get at least a full page. If you're in travel, you'll get probably a double page spread. So the more value the prize, the bigger the editorial you're going to get. And the best bit with wedding ideas, not all publications do this, but if you offer a competition or reader offer in print, it also goes online at the same time. So you get a double whammy, which is great. And we tweet about it in Facebook and everything. Okay, and the benefit for you to do this, other than all that, is that if you do a reader offer, you'll get probably increased sales with a discount, even 10%. I mean, it's nothing, is it? Or you get the data capture from competitions, which is really valuable to you. You know that the people that have entered that competition like your product, otherwise they wouldn't have bothered in the first place. You can then use that data to go back to them and say, sorry you didn't win the Wedding Ideas competition, but if you would like to come and stay, here's a 5% discount or a £20 off voucher or whatever. And we've had, we did this actually with Benjamin Roberts quite a while ago with dresses, and they followed up. They had something like 3,000 entries to the competition to win the bridal gown. And they went back to all those people, and another 48 people bought dresses that didn't win because they got a 10% discount. So they were absolutely loving it. Done loads with us since. Okay, the only way to sort of guarantee editorial is to advertise. I've got my team telling me to say this. No, really. It genuinely is the best way. Almost all advertising packages have editorial included in that. So it could be anything from just being sent the features list to actually getting a full page advertorial. While I'm on that subject, quite a lot of people think that it's like just having an extra advert, and they'll send us loads of text and they want it to read like an advert with all this information. Don't do that. Just trust the editorial teams. They know what they're doing. It needs to sound like they're endorsing you and your business and your product, so don't try and tweak it too much. It needs to sound genuine. Particularly if we haven't ever been there before, it's quite difficult. So again, you might want to invite them down or send them a sample or something in the post. So not only will your advert actually get out there as well, this is an example of a classified section. So these are the little teeny weeny ads at the back. These are the cheapest ones, but like I said, you will get the features list, which tells you which features are going into the next issue. No one else gets that, just advertisers. So you can submit images that you've got that you think are perfect for it. You might want to make something up yourself there and then, say, oh, it's a purple theme. I'm going to quickly make something in this purple material I've got and then submit it. Great, perfect, that's exactly what we want. Our finishing touches do really well in the magazine, probably better than the advert itself, if I'm being completely honest, because you've got a lot of things going on here. Although they are well marked and everything, I think if you spoke to any of these people on this list, they probably say the reason they take out this advert is so that they can get on that features list. So they've got one step ahead on all their competitors. Okay, here's an example of the sort of feature that I'm talking about. Again, does anyone got any products like this? Flowers, stationery, jewellery here, dresses, cakes, shoes? Yeah? Excellent. So if you shoot them in the way that I said earlier with the photography, it's always a lifestyle image and a couple of lifestyle images and cutouts, the rest of it. So you can see what I mean. Cutouts are really important. They get far more coverage than the lifestyles. We would have said to all of these advertisers, all these people on here, we're doing a winter blush theme. It's going to be blush pink, it's going to be sparkle, it's going to be white. And then they've submitted all these things to us. And then if we are sort of lacking in space, that's when non-advertisers get dropped in. So it's still worth doing it even if you're not advertising, trying to find out what's coming up. This one we've nicked off of Marks and Spencer. So that's from Press Loft, PR shots and things like that, which you can pay. It's quite a bit of money, but you can pay to go on those and editors can freely download them. The only problem with that is you can't keep track necessarily of what's been downloaded and what to look out for in the publication. Whereas with these, if you're advertising, you can drop us a line every month and we can tell you exactly how many times you've been featured, what page you're on, send you the PDFs and everything. So it is a good thing to do. Okay, sounds cheesy, but it's a really good idea to make friends with other people in the industry. Get your hashtag weddingbff. It's me and Kat from Rock and Roll Bride there. It's my latest BFF. Basically, it's important to keep in contact with the media as much as possible through calls, Twitter, social media, and then you can build a rapport with them. So not necessarily even about weddings. I made really good mates with the editor of Cosmopolitan because she's a Crystal Palace fan. I'm a big Liverpool fan, and we were sort of bonding over the FA Cup, which is a bit random. But then I said to her a couple of months later, she was doing a wedding feature, and she thought of wedding ideas first because she knew me. Nothing to do with weddings, but we got to know each other. So that's always handy. And like I've said here, I've got lots of people that come to my mind first over their competitors now because I know them well. I tweet them regularly, they call, and I'm probably more likely to feature them over a competitor that I don't know as well. And make sure that you don't overdo it though. There are some PRs and people that can call you. I've had 3 calls in one day once from someone saying, did you get my press release? Did you get my, what do you think? That then actually goes completely the other way and you just think this person's driving me crazy. I've got to stop, I'm gonna delete it and hopefully they'll stop hounding me. But once a month I would say is probably more than enough to contact a magazine. Okay, social media, evil genius. It's media industry's best friend and worst enemy, depending on how good you are with it and how you use it. No one wants to be shown up on social media. There's nothing worse than bad press with social media. There's literally millions of people that use it, so you don't want anyone sort of bad-mouthing your company on there. So, not that I would suggest doing this, but if you haven't heard back from them, it is probably worth tweeting them and saying, hi, did you get my press release about my cakes? Attach a picture. They are more likely to reply to that because they think if we don't, we look like we're mean and that we don't reply to anyone and everyone hates us, right? So it's a good tip. And the other thing is obviously when they do press reply, all of their followers will get to see their reply to you as well. So again, getting your business out there, getting your Twitter handle out there. Is everyone familiar with Wedding Hour? Does anyone do that? Okay, so every Wednesday, I think it's 9 till 10, there's Wedding Hour on Twitter. If you don't do it, do it. It's using this hashtag here, and it's a great way to get your name seen by not only everyone in the media industry, but all the big names and influential players in the industry. Have you got any wedding shops here? Any retailers? Yeah. Okay, so if there are any new collections that are coming out, if you just go to this hashtag Wedding Hour, which you can click on the homepage, you can see what everyone's talking about. Oh my God, I love the new Claire Pettibone collection. Oh my God, Marcus Terro. And you're thinking, right, that's what everyone wants. I'm going to Harrogate soon. I know exactly what I'm going to be putting on my shopping list. Okay? I just don't have time for all of this. This is what everyone seems to be saying at the moment. Some people with smaller businesses, this isn't their full-time job. They work part-time somewhere else, have a full-time job, and then just do this in their spare time. It might have been a hobby from when you were getting married and you did it for your wedding and then you've continued doing it. Get quite a bit of that. So if you literally don't have time, you can employ a PR. Some PRs are quite pricey, Some people charge you per press release, per tweet even, I've seen some people. And some people will charge you a monthly rate where they'll sort of tailor a package for you. I think we've sort of dotted around our draft media ones. That's kind of what we tend to do. You tell us what you want and we tailor a package for you. We've only recently started doing this. We thought we've got all the expertise, so why not? Yeah. That's about it, I think. Has anyone got any questions? Yeah?
Jade, can I ask whether, if we follow all of your tips and get all the wording right, whether we would have more luck through a PR agency? In other words, do they already have that relationship? Is it worth paying them just to be able to get to the website?
That's a really good question. I mean, I've got maybe a handful of PRs that I deal with regularly, and actually some of them I'll approach if I'm struggling for a feature, and I'll say, God, Nicola, can you help me? I'm really struggling here. Have you got anything that I can pop in? So there is that benefit, definitely. But likewise, I think if you can build a relationship with them by yourself, there's not really any need. And of course, if you've got time to do it. It's probably worth maybe in the first instance employing a PR, see how you get on, and if it massively drives your business up and you're quite happy to leave them getting on with it, then sure. But some people can be quite precious about their business and they want to do it themselves, and actually I think you get a bit of credit for that from the editorial teams as well. Yep, so.
I design bespoke jewellery, so I do wedding rings, engagement rings and things like that, which obviously are very lovely. Thinking about, say, sending a gift, you know,
a bit pricey.
Like
Yeah.
It's a little bit sort of tricky. So again, is there a sort of suggestion of how I could?
Wedding rings and engagement rings, we actually don't feature that many of them, if I'm being honest. Engagement rings, usually not, because they're already engaged if they're buying our magazine. Wedding rings, definitely we can do, but we don't have many people that submit them to us. Get the images, again, it's all about the photography, send that to us. What else do we have? Just trying to think of any. We can team up in different ways. We have this affiliation with 77 Diamonds that produce wedding jewellery rings and things like that, and we do Your Sparkles. I don't know if anyone's ever seen things like that on Twitter, hashtag Your Sparkles, and we get brides, our readers, we encourage them to get pictures of them like this, and then we pick a winner and we will then give them their wedding ring or their wedding bands or something like that, a competition in that way. Being able to offer a prize like that, you don't worry about sending a ring in the post. I mean, geez, that's quite an expensive PR stunt there. But if you can approach us and offer something, I think that's probably a better way around it for a business like yours. Okay. Yeah? Okay.
So it's interesting to hear about if you advertise, you get on your features list, because some other magazines I'm just on the list by contacting people. So is that kind of a set thing with how you work as a magazine?
How we would get the editorial in the first place? Yeah, well, the advertisers get the features list. We don't give features list out to anyone else.
Some other magazines, they just email them on to you and say, we're doing this.
We did used to do that. Again, I'm not going to speak badly of anyone else, but our publication, we are all about featuring our advertisers, giving them the best exposure possible. And we were sending them to PRs and to people like Monsoon, Topshop, and Accessorize and stuff like that. And our advertisers were getting annoyed. They're saying, hang on a minute, we're spending this money with you every month and you're featuring high street stores? What are you up to? So we stopped doing that. Obviously, we want to have a variety of stuff and price points for our readers, but our advertisers always come first. You're guaranteed to, if you advertise with us, you'll get at least one thing in every month, which doesn't sound very much. But some people that have a variety of products, flowers in particular, we do struggle with, so please do send them over. You know, you can get anything from sort of up to 15 products in the magazine in any one issue.
And with the photos, because you obviously prefer one on white background.
Yes.
You're going to be, and there's certain, I don't know what the word is, but like they have to be certain.
The dimensions, yeah, high resolution. Yes, I should have actually said this tonight, it's quite important. High resolution, 300 DPI, this might mean absolute gobbledygook to you, but a graphic designer or photographer will. 300 DPI, 10 by 10 centimetres. is our minimum for an image, high resolution. Quite a lot of people will submit us images that they've literally just dragged off their website. They are literally this big, and although you say, oh, well, it's only that big in print, it really doesn't work like that. They'll just be completely blurred and pixelated. We need them to be as crisp and as big as possible so that when we shrink them down, that doesn't affect it, whereas it's easier to do that than to stretch an image out and it gets all distorted.
So it's better to send pictures that kind of have a lot of, well, don't copy yourself, just kind of send the actual picture of the white, say a bouquet on a white background.
I would do both. I mean, if you've got real brides and you've got really nice photographers that you're friends with that have shot your flowers before, then send them in and just tell us the photographer that we need to credit. So if we have a lifestyle feature and we want to put it in there, we do quite a lot of lifestyles with flowers. And do both. Try to shoot them on a white background and send them as well. So then you've got double the chance of getting featured because you've got the cutouts and the lifestyles.
So the best option really is to go through the advertising route.
It's the only way to 100% guarantee it. That said, you know, there are other ways in, and quite often if you're completely new, they'll want you to submit stuff to us and we'll say, you know what, you don't know it's going to work advertising with us. How about we feature something of yours now without you advertising, see how you get on. If you get a good response and you like what you get, then you advertise with us and we'll give you a lot more of it. And that quite a lot of people do that as well. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, just because I've got about real weddings. You do real weddings?
Yes.
As well. Does that generally come from the photographer? Is that how do you source your real weddings?
It's a bit of a mix. We have Hannah who is dedicated just to the real weddings. We probably get submitted about 50 weddings a day from real brides. We have a substantial section dedicated to real weddings in our magazine, a lot more than any of the others, literally like 40 to 60 pages an issue. Our readers love it. And that's a combination of people that have submitted them to us, photographers submitting them to us, and us actually going out and sourcing them ourselves. But we don't tend to do that very often. We do get quite a few venues that try to submit us images or say we just shot this wedding, but that's really not the best way to go about it. The venue should speak to the photographer or the couple and encourage them to get in touch with us because of rights and copyright and things like that. We can't risk going to anyone other than the photographer or the couple. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sorry.
Obviously, a little bit touching on what you just said, because I'm a photographer myself.
Okay.
I've never had anything published.
Okay.
I've been a bit nervous about going down that route. But I'm involved in a wedding in April where there's 40 suppliers are all supplying our services for free for an armed services couple.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done the pre-wedding shoot on, we had a disused TriStar, and we've done the Top Gun thing.
Nice, cool.
So it's different, and I know the times are running with it next month, but I'm sort of letting them do it. Should, as a photographer, I be a lot more involved and making more of this, because I don't know it.
Well, from a photographer's point of view, going into a real wedding section of a magazine, for example, is probably the best publicity you can get, and it doesn't cost you a penny. We have barely any photographers that actually advertise with us. They just try to get the real weddings to us all the time, which is a little bit annoying if I'm honest, but we have to have them and we need a lot of them. So as long as you make sure they always credit your website, if they put it online or anything like that, they need to link it through to you. I wouldn't, some photographers, they'll literally submit 20 images that they think are perfect for that feature. Very frustrating. So you've only got space for 20 images, I'm just giving you the 20 best ones, but that's really for us to pick because some are landscapes, some are portraits, some are small, some are big, and it doesn't really work like that. We usually get up to maybe 1,000 images for one wedding, and we will trawl through the whole lot to get the ones we want.
So like on that one of mine then, should I have more say in what, so the Times are going to send the photographer down for the couple, but they're going to use my images because they like them so much.
Yeah.
Should I then make use of them afterwards and come to you with an editorial?
Yeah, one of the,
So different.
yeah, well the editorial would be very different. I mean, the one of the biggest no-nos is to submit a wedding to 2 publications. And neither publication will like that if you've got one wedding in both issues at the same time. But yeah, I would, you know, as long as it's completely different and you're honest and you say, look, this has been featured here, it was featured like this, what do you think? Then that's great. And don't submit black and white images because we won't use them. That goes for anything. Don't send black and white images for wedding ideas. We'll never ever use it, no matter what it is. It needs to be colour. It comes out really weird in print. But yeah, I would definitely follow that up. Get the contact, I'll give it to you afterwards if you like,
Yeah,
and
it's an
submit it.
Top, we had 6 TriStars to play with, and we had our own right next to the runway. We just shot this.
Well, the more unique it is, the more likely it is to get featured.
So our dream was to have a shooting an engine on a plane, and we did it.
Wow,
And
that sounds cool.
there's a number on the plane, but this was the last plane that flew in that fleet. So the story's good.
Amazing. Well, that's exactly the sort of thing that we'd love to see, definitely. Anything else? Anyone else?
Sorry, I've got a sweet in my mouth.
That's all right. She's like, oh no, why did she ask now?
It was just, you said about you communicate out that you're doing a feature on, Lush or
Yeah.
how do we get you to tell us that, or do we phone in every month and say, hi, what are you doing this month? What are you doing
We'll have a mailing list we can put on.
Again, it's the advertisers, the only ones that get that. We have in our particular magazine probably the biggest biggest details and themes section, which is literally about 80 to 100 pages every issue. We dedicate to flowers, jewellery, stationery, shoes, cakes, etc. And we have a ton of advertisers that do these things, and we try to make it fair so they all get featured. And there isn't always room to give it to people that aren't working with us. That said, if you've got some really nice images and some cool press releases you want to send to us, and we say, this could be perfect for our theme, we might actually use the image you attached on that press release and then let you know. So that's another good reason to have your good photography on your press release in the first place. Likewise, you can make that phone call and say, you don't have to tell me what you're doing, because for all we know, you could work for one of the other magazines. You're just trying to scope out what we're up to. So you can say, don't tell me what you're doing, but I'm going to send you my whole back catalogue of my images. If you want to use any of them, please do let me know. And then we'll, of course, get in touch with you, and you can ask for PDFs, go and get a copy, whatever. But the only way you would be guaranteed that every 4 weeks is to advertise, I'm afraid. Yeah?
I think we advertised this month with you.
Oh, good.
But we did take out like a half-page advert, but I don't know whether we've had that features list. Is that like emailed?
What's your business, sorry?
Box Street ads with Denton Hall.
Denton Hall?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I'm dealing with Helen and she's been lovely and it's all been good. But I just wondered, like, is it a monthly thing that is your magazine a monthly?
It is, yes, but I think you might have the wrong one.
Okay.
No one at Helen works at our magazine, but.
Oh, I thought, no, it's definitely wedding ideas because I've got the magazine.
Helen?
At home. Did you say
Hannah.
Hannah.
I was like, oh gosh.
Sorry, no.
Oh no, we've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, and I said, can you just send me a copy when we're in? And it arrived on my desk, and I was really happy with the advert and
Good.
everything. But yeah, it was just with the features thing because we advertised. We are their exclusive caterer, so we do all the advertising together as one.
I know exactly what advert you're on about now as well. I just remembered.
Like, as a caterer, we do have some lovely pictures of our food, and I think it's always missed off theming because you can theme your canapes towards a certain. We do a savoury macaroon that's bright pink, or we can, it's all these different things. But I just feel like, it'd be quite nice actually to put those in certain features.
I'll completely put my hands up to that. We don't even think about sending it to caterers or venues because. No, but you're absolutely right. Why not? If you've got the images that we can use, send them. And in terms of actual features, planning features, you sometimes just take the initiative yourself and say, hey, they do top 10 reasons to do this or top 10 places to go for this. I'm going to make up my own one and write it for them and submit it and see if they want to use it. Just make sure it's exclusive to that magazine. But definitely send us your images. If you've got them, there's absolutely no reason why we wouldn't include them.
So I should just email her and ask for the features list then?
Yeah, just if you're advertising, then all we have to do is pop you on it. I think the only people that automatically go on it are people like florist cakes and stuff because we just assume they are the...
I did take out a package there. I think it was an individual advert. Does that matter?
See, that's another thing. If you just have a one-off ad, you can know what's going into that specific issue, but then we have to stop with the automatic giving it out. If you're bi-monthly, or you can buy 3 issue packages, 6 issue packages, bi-monthly, or all 13, because we do 13 issues a year, and then you'll just get it every single month.
Fine.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir? Oh, good.
She didn't bring any.
Ah, damn. I'll give you my address. You've heard about the samples, right? Yep.
Specifically for the images that you feature in your magazine for cakes, is it mainly
No, we actually alternate because we work with Wedding Cakes magazine. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. It's a national magazine as well. It's quarterly. And they write a feature for us every other month. And then in between those months, we put together our own features. And sometimes they're lifestyle images and it's just a pretty selection of cakes. And we theme it like bright cakes, decorated with flowers, whatever. And then sometimes it will be actual cutouts of cakes. We don't have a lot of cake advertisers currently. So if you were to work with us, then you would definitely get more exposure than maybe, say, jewellery. There's a lot more competition. Stationery, there's a lot more competition. But we do like to mix that. We don't want the features to look the same every issue. Anyone else? You bored of me yet? No?
Is this giraffe?
That's giraffes. That's us.
You touched on it, but it's you.
I know I didn't want to like self-promote too much, but yeah, we've just started doing it because we've got our own in-house ad team. We've got our own designers. We've got 2 editors that have worked on Wedding Ideas still work there. That's myself and Rachel. And we've got all the resources right there. So we just thought, why not? And if you advertise with us, you get a discount off of our PR packages. And because we are a massive company, we've got a lot of people working on these, the prices are pretty competitive as well. So if you were interested, and obviously that's going to make its way into Wedding Ideas, isn't it? And Rock and Roll Bride magazine. So yeah, just... Yeah, it sold like hotcakes. Yeah, it's literally gone crazy. Yeah, it launched, the next issue comes out on 5th of March. And it's sold out in loads of WH Smith stores in the first couple of days. So. It was one of the best, fastest selling magazines that we've had in the wedding industry for yonks. Since Wedding Ideas, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
For a wedding dress shop.
Oh.
Thank you very much indeed. I think that's a meeting that
Sorry,
we need to wrap up now. But,
Sure, sorry, I've dragged on.
Perhaps if you're able to make your way over to the lake view and chat with anyone there.
Yeah, any more questions? Sure. We've got a few magazines here as well if anyone wants to take some. Okay, thank you. Thanks.